Well, nice to meet you anyway, Summer.
Thank you so much. You too, of course. I saw your videos on YouTube, so I like to share my experience with you and try to talk about the English language in general, especially when my students see me speak with a native speaker and try to ask him some questions about the English language in general. Maybe they will feel kind of comfortable, something like that.
Sure. Yeah, anything.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, nowadays, students in schools don't care about uh, studies. They don't study well. So, are there any ways to help them study English or to help me encouraging them to study well?
Hmm. Yeah, it's an important matter to think about. I believe. I think that students or children, young people, they need motivation to study. They need a reason. They need to believe that their time is being well spent. It's difficult, I think, because in this world that we live in, there's a lot of things that can cause a person to feel like it's not worth the time, maybe, because the world is so bad, and they just want to maybe distract themselves with things that take their minds away from the reality. But I believe that a big part of the motivation that can be developed inside of a person comes from what is happening at home, right? And as teachers, we don't have much control over what happens at home. So the parents have a big responsibility. In my opinion, teaching begins with the parents. The parents should not expect to just send their kids to school and have the teachers raise their children for them. They need to be also part of the teaching process. So if the
Yeah,
parents are not involved, right? You agree, don't you?
of course, of course. Sometimes I speak with their parents to help us. Because one hand, we say in Arabic, one hand doesn't clap well. We need two hands.
Yeah, that's right.
So
So
only
yeah,
the teacher can't do all the duty. We need their parents to help us just to take their children or their boys to the next level, just to see their future is better than with studying, of course.
right. Yes, I agree. So yeah, making efforts to communicate with the parents is definitely necessary in order to. But even if a teacher makes efforts to communicate with the parents, it, the parents will respond differently, right? Some parents will just take the attitude, well, it's not a big deal, you know, and maybe
You-
other parents will have the attitude of, oh, your teacher had to speak to me. What are you doing wrong? You need to work hard, or you need to pass your test, or and they will discipline their children, maybe more than what is really necessary, and this causes the child to be even worse. You know, to lack the motivation even more.
yeah, yeah. Because I'm a teacher of the English language in a school, private school, and I'm a trainer of I train people how to speak English in a private institute. So sometimes I speak with the students. I tell them, why don't you care about the English language? They say we don't need it. They think that because when they go out, they can find people speak English. They can find people from the US, from the UK, from other countries. The tourist here in Iraq is not uh, very good. You can see native people, foreign people, but you can't see them a lot. Sometimes you can see people from the US, from the UK, but not all the time. It's not like other countries when you travel to Spain or when you travel to the UAE or to Saudi Arabia, maybe you can see a lot of them there, but not like here in Iraq. So, but
Mhm.
always I try to encourage them by telling them maybe in the future you're going to travel, or maybe you'll have friends, because nowadays it's easy to speak with people from the other world, just like now I'm talking with you,
Yeah.
and I don't need a passport, I don't need to pay money. It's easy just using my old phone and connecting with the internet, and it's easy to speak with anyone from any country.
Yeah.
So, and always they are students, so they need the English language when
Mhm.
they go to the other class.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, you're right. This modern world that we're living in, especially since the beginning of the pandemic, we have seen that life is now taking place more so than ever before online, and people are working online, and they need to communicate using technology. And so maybe before it was less the reason or the motivation to learn English was less apparent, but now it's even more apparent than ever before because, as we know, English is the language. It's the number one language. Every country, I believe, everyone in every country should try to learn English because it seems to be necessary. If well, not maybe not necessary, but it's definitely going to help to
It's very
make
important.
someone. I'm sorry.
It's important to learn the English language. It's
Yeah.
an international language nowadays.
Yeah. Yeah, and what is it like over there in Iraq? I'm not. You would know better than me, right? If a person does not know any English, I mean, is it how difficult is it to make a living there? What would you say?
It's easy, you know. But if you speak English, you will find it more more easier to. You will find it easier to find job actually. So, for example, now I can speak English. I can work in different places. I have no time sometimes. Sometimes I sleep just about 3 or 4 hours on a day because I spend my time just working. So when you speak English, your opportunity with the work will rise up. You can find, as I told you, different jobs in different places, and your salary will be better, of course.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Even working, many jobs need uh, many jobs are online and they use technology like web development or other jobs that require an online presence, and
Yeah,
most of the time English is necessary for those.
yeah. But I want to ask you about the pronunciation of the English language, because sometimes um, you can see a word pronounced with different pronunciation, just like, for example, coach. In the past, you say it in American English, you say it like, or American pronunciation, you say it like caught,
Hmm.
caught, right? But
Hmm.
with the British, they say caught, right? And also, if you don't mind, there's a word, I'm not going to pronounce it. I'm going to tell you the words, okay? The words are the letters are Russa.
Russia.
Right. So is it Russia or Raja?
I believe
It's,
in American the
yeah,
American pronunciation is Russia. It's like
Russia.
I'm rushing to do something. Russia.
Russia, right?
Yeah.
Because I pronounce it like Russia, but someone told me no, it is not correct. It is Raja. So I told him I have spoken with American people, especially teachers, and they told me it's Russia. So I'm now asking the same question because I want to be sure 100%.
Yeah, it's definitely not Russia. Russia. No.
Yeah.
Russia.
Sometimes you see confusing words, just like garage or garage.
Oh, garage. Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Garage. Yeah, you know, the English language is not a phonetic language, right? So the vowels have different sounds. The same letter has different sounds.
Yeah, just like in read, when you say it in present, read. But when you try to say it in the past, you say read.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a crazy language, but it's
Yeah.
very beautiful.
Well, what uh, yeah, I mean, I like to say, because many times my students have expressed their confusion over, well, it seems so inconsistent, the pronunciation of the letters. There's so many different sounds attributed to one letter. I just call it a ridiculous language. I don't know, you know, how it developed into this, but like Spanish, like I live in Mexico and I speak Spanish. I'm learning Spanish.
Okay.
The pronunciation in Spanish is so much easier because every letter has its own sound.
Uh-huh. So,
Yeah.
but by the way, I think you speak Spanish, right? Because you have just told me this.
I can have a conversation.
Okay. So, do you feel the words just like your first language?
Do I feel the words?
Yeah,
Mm,
when you
mm,
speak Spanish?
mm, not fully yet, not completely.
You know, now I'm speaking with you right now. I don't need to think about my words, and there's no need to translate the words in my mind. But unfortunately, I can't touch the words. I can't feel it.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
don't know why. Just like my first language,
Hmm.
maybe because I don't speak English all the time. Maybe
Hmm.
like Arabic, so it's difficult to feel it just like your first language.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe I think it's possible that you and I, it's possible that we will never get to that point, you know, where we really feel.
That's sad.
Yeah. Like what language do we speak in our mind, in our thoughts, right? For me,
Yeah.
it's always English.
Because now when I'm speaking with you, I just speak English. There's no Arabic words in my mind.
Okay. Well, that's
But
fantastic. That's great.
yeah, it's
How
just
long
like, yeah,
how long have you been speaking English?
about maybe 4 years.
Okay. I've been
Yeah.
here for a little bit over 3 years. But I mean,
Uh-huh.
you teach English, so you're always speaking
Use the
in
language.
English. Yeah, I mean, for me, of course, I when I leave my house, I have to talk to people at the supermarket or whatever. I have friends here, so I have to talk to them in Spanish. But I can tell. I'm pretty sure that your English is much more advanced than my Spanish.
Yeah, I think so. But you should be better because you live there. Imagine if I live in the US, so my English will be just like, not like you 100%, but it's better than now, of course.
Hmm. Well, I'm working on
Yeah, you should.
it.
Oh, so who told you this idea? This idea looks very beautiful when you speak with different people from different countries and you try to do the interview and post it on YouTube.
Hmm.
This is a good
Well,
idea.
the idea came to me when I was on my I was on Facebook, right? I have Facebook on my phone, and
Yeah,
I belong to different groups of people who want to exchange languages.
yeah,
Uh, so I was thinking, wow, look at all these people in these groups. There are thousands of people in these groups that want to learn English, and they they have these questions. Like, for example, I'll just give you an example.
yeah,
So I belong to a group. Somebody posts a question on the group. They say, what is the answer to this English language question? And then they give like three possible answers, right? So
yeah,
I'm reading that, and all three answers are wrong. There is no correct answer.
yeah.
So all the people now in the comments below, they are
Choose
choosing
number
one
one.
of the three. And there are
Yeah,
hundreds of people choosing one of the three, but they're all wrong.
Yeah.
So I thought I want to help these people, because I feel like I'm the only native English speaker in the group.
Looks like your duty,
Yeah. So
responsibility.
so I send a
Your
comment.
language.
I send a comment, right? I post a comment saying, actually, all of those answers are wrong. The correct answer is this, but nobody really takes note of my comment.
Yeah, because your English is not good.
So anyway, I made this YouTube channel. I thought, hey, maybe it would be nice to invite people to chat, and others can watch, and if they learn a new word, they can write it down, or if they learn more about the sentence structure and the grammar of the language, they can take note of it. They can go back, they can watch the videos over again. So far, it's been sort of like a slow process. For some reason, I don't know. YouTube is a little mysterious. I don't know why some people have more success than other people, but I'm trying.
Yeah, you are doing a great job, actually. By the way, when I see your when I saw your comment, I tried to see your profile. So I remember that I have a YouTube video for you. I have saved it before just to watch it. You have a conversation with, I think, with a boy. I don't know where is he from actually, but the conversation was about 40 minutes. I guess 40 minutes. Or I'll send it after this uh, conversation. So it's great when you talk with someone. Maybe other students will watch this video or the previous videos to take the benefit. Maybe they have questions or something like that to help them to improve their English in general. So of course that will be great.
Yeah, I hope people will really appreciate it. People send me comments on the YouTube videos. They say, "Hey, I'm from Poland, and I really enjoyed the video. Thank you." And or I'm from Bangladesh or Pakistan or um, Iraq, Ethiopia, so many different countries. Um,
That's great.
would you have the opportunity to share one of my videos with your class?
Of course, that's why I'm recording it right now. I'm going to share it with my students and with my friends too.
Okay, that's great. I also
Yeah, of
make
course.
videos about like I read a book on the video. I read a book, and then the people who are watching at the same time that I'm discussing the book, they will ask questions about what's that word mean, or what's the difference between this word and this word. And then I go to the internet and I share my screen, right? I go to the internet, I show pictures of this word, or I show pictures of this word. What's the difference? Like somebody asked me a question. What's the difference between taking a bath and taking a shower? So
Yeah,
we discussed those answers. Mhm.
yeah, great. You know, because some students try when they speak English, they try to translate literally from their first language to the English language, and
Mhm.
that's not correct. Maybe you can understand them. People who can speak English well, they can understand them, but not. It doesn't work all the time. Actually,
Right.
sometimes it's not correct because, for example, if I try to translate literally, sorry for this, WC water cycle, if I try to translate it from Arabic to English, I'll say water course. And it's not correct.
Okay. Yeah. So,
So, yeah,
uh-huh. Yeah, you're right. There are so many things about the Spanish language that, I have a habit of translating literally, and sometimes it actually helps me understand that why it's called that, But then other times when I translate it literally, it's like, no, it doesn't make any sense to me. But I just have to accept it. There's some things in the language I just have to accept that I just don't get it. But I feel good when I find myself finally at the point where I'm saying the things in conversation. I'm using those expressions in conversation that I didn't understand, literally, and now I'm making it a part of my ability to speak. You know, it's just it becomes a part of me. So now it feels good when maybe you didn't understand what it meant word for word literally, but now you're using it, so you've adopted it and it's becoming accepted by your mind and your heart.
Yeah. Everything at the beginning, you find it difficult to accept it. Sometimes I uh, tell my students, the new students, I say to them, what's your feeling when you see me at the first time? Maybe you will find, oh, sorry, my electricity went out.
Oh
So
no.
it's normal here in Iraq. I'll
Okay.
continue. Okay, so when they see me at the first time, they find me foreign something. They didn't use to see my face, or, but over time, they will find their brain will accept me, will accept my face, my for anything about me, and they will find it easy. Even my attitude, they will find it easy to know when I feel sad, when I feel angry, when I feel happy. They will used to see me, and just like with the language, sometimes when I try to memorize a word, I find it difficult. I remember when I tried to memorize a word called compartmentalization. It doesn't work. Uh, I have a native speaker, American friend. He told me, "Why did you try to memorize this word?" I thought it's I thought it's just like interchangeable with divide. I said, no, we don't use it. It's academic word. Yeah. So, but over time, I'll never forget it. It's easy compartmentalization. But at the beginning, oh, it was about to kill me.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, sometimes yeah, when I read something or sometimes I make in Spanish, I make compositions. I actually type out stuff like I try to type on about a certain topic. I'll write or type about a certain topic, and then I type it in Spanish, and then I will take the finished product and I'll take time to read it and try to speak it out loud and just keep sort of rehearsing like I'm giving a speech or something to nobody. And this helps me to work on my pronunciation of certain words, and it helps me to retain vocabulary, and it even trains my mouth. It trains my mouth, my tongue, to speak.
Because because you're talking about the training. When I tried to speak English at the beginning, I couldn't speak with this accent. It was difficult to speak like this now. So I think there is muscles in our mouth. I don't know, maybe with the record. I don't know where is it exactly. We need to practice it to use to speak the accent kind of well, better. Because sometimes when I think you have spoken with people from India, so when they speak English, they have their own accent. Okay, all the accents are beautiful actually, because no worry. But sometimes you can see people like to speak American English accent or a British accent. Just like me, I like American accent. It's very beautiful. So other people maybe they say no, British accent is great. So it depends on the person. But anyway, uh, I have spoken with people from India. They have a great accent. They speak just like a native speaker. Why? Because they practice speaking every day. But if they
Mhm.
don't practice speaking, they will just speak Indian, but with English words. Right? In my opinion, all the accents are beautiful, but we need to learn the accent of that country. We need or we want to learn their language. For
Right.
example, you are trying to learn Spanish, so it will be better or more beautiful to speak with their accent.
Right. Hmm. Yeah, I agree, and I remember my family members, they came over here to visit, and they they were trying to communicate with the local people, asking questions and stuff in Spanish, and that's great. They were trying to communicate. They did not only rely on a translator for help, but one of my family members, uh, she she spoke in an American like accent with the
Yeah,
Spanish words,
yeah,
and I was like, you know, I just wanted to tell her, actually it's pronounced this way, you know, it's pronounced this way, and she didn't care. She just continued saying it with
yeah,
the American pronunciation. But yeah, I understand what you're saying. I try my very best to speak with the Spanish pronunciation because that's the language, in my opinion, that's the language, and I want to speak the language. I don't want to, as they say, like there's an expression to butcher the words, or to just mess it all up. I think it's beautiful to try and get the right pronunciation from the country that you,
yeah.
yeah. Mhm.
Especially when you speak that language with their accents. I have friends 3 days ago. They told me, "How do you pronounce ground and grand, grand and ground?" And he said in Arabic, of course, because his pronunciation not that good. He told me, Samur, how do you pronounce ground or uh, grand? Grand. I told him ground, grand. So he laughed. Oh no, don't say it like that. It's funny sometimes to speak. As I told you, I try to sometimes to uh, speak this language because it's very beautiful. Actually, it's important. It's useful. So I always try to encourage my friends to learn it too, especially with the accent. I like the accent actually.
Okay, you're doing a great job. And back
I
back to
will.
your original question, Summer.
Yeah,
Uh, how can we motivate our students to really take their education into their own hands? I
yeah,
think that, I mean, the parents are one thing, right? We can only do so much with them. But as teachers, we need to really love and care about our students. And the students need to see that we care about them. I remember that when I was in high school, uh, I had some teachers that I didn't feel like they really cared about me. I didn't do as well in their classes. When I felt that the teachers cared about me and they really
yeah,
commended me, they said, very good job, you're doing great. You know, when I felt that they cared, I wanted to do better, and I did do better. And so,
yeah,
just the same, you're an English teacher, I'm an English teacher. We need to care about our students. We need to commend them when they do well, and we need to lovingly, patiently correct them when there's something that can be improved. And they will see that we care, and I think that will motivate them to do their best.
yeah. You're right. Because the students, if they love the teacher, they will love the student, the lesson of the teacher,
Right.
and at the end, they will do their best, of course,
Yeah.
and that's the goal.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I think you're
That,
doing a great job. I can tell that you really do care about your students.
of course, of course. I care about my students more than my children because they are my children too.
Yeah,
Honestly,
in a sense they are.
yeah. I really appreciate your time, and hopefully we can do uh, other lessons or other video calls just like this if you have time, of course,
Sure, yeah,
to
that'd be
talk
great.
about things.
We'll be in touch. We'll be in contact, and maybe one day you can introduce me to some of your students.
Of course, I will have the honor.
Okay, great. Thank you for your time, Summer. It was a pleasure. I hope that you have a good night because you said that it's what about 10, what is it, like 11 o'clock now?
11:10.
11:10 p.m. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Well, I hope you have a great
Yeah.
sleep.
You too, my friend. Thank you so much.
Take care. Bye.
Bye bye.